Carter and Corey, we are your co-hosts.
My name is Carter Lane. This is Corey Ross.
We're a rock band, but we like to talk about all kinds of music.
Sonically, they're much, much different.
I think I'm going to give this album 5 volts.
Hello, girls and boys.
Welcome to the Voltecast.
Is it called the Voltecast?
With your hosts, Carter Lane.
Do you think what we said is bullshit?
And Corey Ross.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship.
Talking about and reviewing all sorts of different albums.
Oh, it sucked. All right, should we give this a go?
What the fuck? What else are we going to do?
Well, shit.
Yeah. Well, hell. Welcome, everyone.
How's it going today?
It's going good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of Voltcast, where we talk about all kinds of albums, what we think about them, and give them our ratings.
Yes.
The third episode today, we the first two episodes, if you're just tuning in, we did the the self-titled album, which commonly known as the Blue Album, from Weezer. And then the second week, we reviewed Pinkerton, and we gave our thoughts on those. So if you haven't heard those, go back and give them a listen, because today we are just going to talk about our thoughts about comparing the two.
Yeah, and there's an age-old debate about Weezer fans with these two albums, and I think a lot of people either like one or the other more and consider themselves to be a Weezer fan of the Blue Album or a Weezer fan of the Pinkerton album. And so that's where that sparked our interest to go and listen to both of them. And so we did, and we reviewed both of those, like Corey said, and so you can go back and listen to those. And today we're going to be talking about both of them and kind of choosing who we are in terms of our Weezer fandom.
Yeah. And if you did listen to the first two episodes, you probably know where we both stand already, which is okay. But maybe, I don't know, did you change your mind at all, Carter? Or
I listened to Pinkerton a couple more times, and I have to say it grew on me a little bit. I wasn't a big fan of it at first, but I'm finding that the songs that I do enjoy remind me of the Blue Album. You know, the first song, again, can't stand it. Tired of Sex. It's something. I think it's Rivers. I don't like him too much. I like him. I think he's at his best when he is writing the more poppy stuff, pop choruses. It seems like he's trying too hard the rest of the time. And I may be totally off and wrong about that. He may be like, kind of more grungy and goofy and whatever. But it just seems to me like him at his best is writing the stuff that sounds like the Blue Album.
Well, so this is something I was thinking about over the last week is, do grunge and pop mix? Because I'm not sure they do. And I kind of feel like when we talked last week about Pinkerton, that was really one of the issues we had collectively with that album, was that they're trying to sound grungy. It's more garage band kind of grungy feel to it.
Yeah.
But then you're mixing that with these sort of like pop punk like elements, or like more poppy choruses, where with the stylistically how they do it in the Blue Album, they pull it off very well. But when you listen to Pinkerton, it's like they're trying to do maybe some Nirvana stuff, but they're also trying to be poppy. And I just don't think that those styles mesh well.
Yeah, especially not for this album. Like I said, there's a distinct difference to me between the songs that sound like the Blue Album and the songs that sound like they're trying too hard, which are the rest of the songs on the Pinkerton album to me.
Yeah, so the best parts of the Pinkerton album for you are like the low end of the Blue Album. Or the common song of the Blue Album. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I like from Pinkerton. I like Across the Sea, but again, it sounds like a song that could fit onto the Blue Album. You know, I don't like the first song, Tired of Sex. It doesn't sound like the Blue Album at all. So there, I just noticed that, in listening to it again and giving it another go.
Right.
So and I really, really enjoyed the Blue Album a lot. I've went back and listened to it again since listening to it, a couple times. And I think that it's just like, maybe it was because they had a producer, because like we have stated in the previous podcasts, for the first one, they were kind of resistant to having a producer, but they did get somebody, and he was from the Cars, the band The Cars. And maybe he gave them the direction of like, hey, you guys, this is you at your best. Let's smooth out the edges and present you at what I think is your best strengths, which makes sense in a way. And I can see how they wanted to abandon that idea maybe and just have a more raw, this is us feel to it. And, but the smoothed out style works better for me. And that's written all over the place in the Blue album.
Well, and I think that I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's a concept that's worth talking about just as far as bands and music production in general. Because when we did compare these albums, and we talked about it last week, and we're going to talk about it again this week, but, Pinkerton was self-produced as compared to the self-titled or the Blue album. And there's a clear difference between the two. And I think there's sort of this mentality a lot with musicians or fans of music and different bands that if you don't self-produce your thing, it's almost like maybe you're not talented, or on the other end, maybe you're a sellout or something like that. And I just want to say that I think that's kind of bullshit because producers can help a lot. Yeah, there's cases where a producer doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and maybe they are a part of a record label or a part of a organization that is pushing your music in a direction that's actually worse for the music and worse for your fans. But that's not always the case. And in this case, I mean, I agree. I think the Blue album is much better. And I think it has a lot to do with having a music producer push the direction. And I think about when we did our self-titled album, we had wrote all the music over, a period of time, and we were really stoked on it. But once we got in there and started working with our Andrew, he kind of took on the role of producer as well as engineer, and it took on an entire new life. I mean, it improved it even more. So,
yeah. I think that producers have the ability to do a lot of things. And in our case, we were lucky to have somebody who kind of supported our underlying ideas about all the songs. And I think that's what, to me, makes a really good producer. Sometimes I think the more famous you get, the more pressure there is to sell the music and conform to the different styles or whatnot, and maybe make it so that it will sell, versus the intention of our producer was just to make really great music. I think the intentions of producers kind of change as you get more famous possibly. And I think that for me, if I was to produce something, I would want to look at the strengths and highlight all those strengths as a band. Every time I listen to somebody's music who I give feedback on, I definitely point out the strengths and what I want to hear more of, and so that's what I feel like happened with the Blue album, was just like, oh, these are your strengths. Let's go with all these.
Yeah. And I think, sorry to interject, but I think on that point is that outside perspectives are extremely beneficial, and kind of like what you're saying, that a really good producer is not going to come in and change you stylistically, but they're going to understand what you're trying to do. And they're going to say, okay, I hear where you're going with this, but you're not quite getting there. And maybe here's some suggestions that I can give you that will bring this to the next level. And obviously that was achieved with the Blue album. And I think that was missing with Pinkerton. As cool and as raw as it sounds, it's just missing that, it's just not polished enough for me.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people that disagree with us that think that the opposite, that think that more raw sound and style is, more what they enjoy, and that's fine too. But for me, I definitely enjoy that polished sound. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I don't enjoy that with other bands, because like I said, Nirvana is one of my favorite bands, and their fucking sound is not polished and not that way. But it works for me.
But it's for them. Their sound, like we're saying, that's what that band is supposed to sound like. And that's how they sound most natural
to me.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like that's their strength. If I was a producer for that band, I'd be like, holy shit. Yeah, that is it. I want more of that. I don't want it to be polished in that band. This band, I do, So
yeah. I agree.
So yeah, and so I can't remember, what did you say was your favorite song off of Pinkerton? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I had a couple, but I think I said maybe Across the Sea. I can't remember what I said, but it's funny because I have listened to it, a bunch since then, and it's sort of like your favorite song gets kind of lost after a week or two when you listen to an album enough because you're like, well, maybe it's this, but I think it was Across the Sea.
Yeah, I really liked, and that's the one with the concept of like, he gets a letter from somebody, right? And he then in turn has the letter and she has the song that he wrote, and it's that connection. Dude, that's great. That's super good songwriting.
yeah.
Super good imagery, and like I like the chorus and the verses and all that. So yeah, that was one of my favorites too.
The theme and concept behind that song, I think, is the strongest part of that entire album. Because there's a lot of songs that, not to say that the lyrics on the other song suck necessarily. It's just none of them really have some of them. some of them, but this song basically was what I'm saying. It has like deeper thought into it, and I think that's such a cool theme for a song that you don't hear. I mean, I haven't really heard that in a lot of other songs. I'm trying to remember the lyrics, but it's like I got your letter. And you got my song. And that, I think that's such a cool concept, is like having this sort of person that he never really knew, never met, but it was sort of this fan in Japan writing these letters. And so he's like reciprocating that in music. And, I think that's a cool experience in life to have.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to hear more of that, And for me, the Pinkerton album confused me a little bit in terms of like the work as a whole, because it has kind of both of those elements. It was harder to picture like what it was like as a whole. Whereas with the Blue album, it was kind of like this nice package that was wrapped up with a bow for me.
Right.
And Pinkerton was more like kind of all over the place and a little bit confusing as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I mean, just kind of on that, it didn't even flow as well, just in general, from beginning to end, where it did feel like the placement of some songs felt more scattered and less methodical than they did on the Blue album. To me, it's like the Blue album is so classic. I mean, I loved it when I was in high school, and I still love it now. I can put it on and listen front to end, and it just feels right. I mean, yeah, like we did the first episode, we nitpicked some things, and that's what we're going to do on this podcast with every single album. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a really fucking great album, and it flows very well. So,
yeah. And wasn't this Pinkerton was not Rivers' favorite, right?
Yeah, I think I didn't read that, but you were talking about that last week where he basically said he was embarrassed about the album.
Right. And then after a long time, it became like better and better and better to the fans and to the people who were listening to it. And he then built his own appreciation for it.
Right.
Which I think is super interesting.
Right. And that kind of goes back to what you said earlier about the more you listen to it, it grows on you a little bit. And I think that's kind of what Pinkerton is that on first listen through, it's so rash and so kind of jarring. You're like, what the fuck? Especially if you're used to the album before that. You're like, what the fuck's going on?
That's what I was going to say, especially after hearing the Blue album, and then you come out and you're like, oh, that was great. And then the first thing you hear is Tired of Sex.
Yeah. And then you're like, who mixed this? And who mastered this?
Yeah. And what the fuck is this sound, dude? There's a sound in the middle of fucking Tired of Sex that's like this a fucking tsunami alert fucking noise, dude. And I'm just like, what is this? Oh,
I think that's
terrible.
the guitar.
It's terrible. Dude, every time I hear that, I'm like, turn it off.
Yeah, it was like we were talking to how the bass comes in and the bass is kind of distorted. And there's a lot of times that distorted bass is pulled off really well. Like some bands, like Muse pulls off distorted basses, like they're fucking awesome at the perfect tone for distortion on bass. Yeah. But this thing came in and it sounded like a pile of fucking garbage. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then like the kick drum sounds like it's out of tune and big and loose and hollow. And like there's nothing to dampen it. So it's just like boom, like echoing throughout the entire album, but especially on that first song. It's like, kind of, yeah, like I said, it's jarring to listen to. But all that being said, the more you go back and you listen to it over and over again, it is one of those albums that kind of creeps into you. And some of the songs kind of, maybe for better or worse, they start getting stuck in your head. And you're like, well, it's not that bad. That's a pretty good album.
Yeah.
So
this is a quote from 2001. Rivers told Entertainment Weekly of Pinkerton, "It's a hideous record. It was such a hugely painful mistake that happened in front of hundreds of thousands of people and continues to happen on a grander and grander scale and just won't go away. It's like getting really drunk at a party and spilling your guts in front of everyone and feeling incredibly great and cathartic about it, and then waking up the next morning and realized what a complete fool you made out of yourself."
Brutal. That sounds like something I would say after going to a party in high school.
Right. That's in 2001. So this came out in what, 1996. So that's 5 years after it came out, and he still has those.
Still just poking him in the back, dude. You know, it's like
crazy.
Wow.
And right after they toured on this album, they went on a 5-year hiatus.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they released the album, they went and toured on it, you know, promoting it and whatever. And then Sharp, who was he in the band? I can't remember if he was
I think it was a guitar
player. He left and the band went on a 5-year hiatus. And during that time is when like this cult following came to be of this album. And he says the most painful thing in my life these days is the cult around Pinkerton. It's just a sick album, sick in a diseased sort of way.
Whoa. Oh my God, dude.
So he didn't like it either.
And is that a part of the same quote from, what'd you say, 2001?
Yeah, it's part of the same article.
Wow. I mean, come on, man. You still got to appreciate the cult that's behind your album, whether you like it or not. I don't know. Then again, do you have songs that through our band or bands you played in the past that you hate that people like that song because you hate it yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I guess everybody can have that feeling, huh?
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I think you can create something that you don't like. I think that's fine. You know what I mean? Like you have emotions and feelings that are tied in when you're creating, and sometimes they're just something that needs to move through you, you know? And, but then to have like a bunch of people like it and like want you to play those songs and like want you to do it when you hate it, that's gotta be really difficult.
Are you just super pissed after your 5-year hiatus, the first show you go back to? There's like a cult of like only 10 people in the front right side, and they're all tired of sex.
Yeah.
Tired of sex.
Yeah.
Like, no, I fucking hate that song.
Yeah. So after they go on this 5-year hiatus, they come back and write the Green Album as the anti-Pinkerton, with squeaky clean production that recalled Weezer's debut album. So that's interesting too. You know, we should go forward and listen to that too, just to see the progression. But super interesting all around.
Yeah, and the Green, I mean, I remember the Green Album. That's where Weezer gets real fucking poppy.
So it's kind of like they lean one way, they lean the other way, and then they lean that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. They kind of saw what each direction was, and they're like, okay, we're going that way now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to say it worked. I mean, the band they're huge.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they were already big at that time, but they're, you know, I don't know a person in the world. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but most people know Weezer when you talk about music.
Sure. And I think that they have influenced a lot of other bands along the way.
Right.
So hats off, man. I mean, I think the band is great, and you know, I am not like a super fan or anything, you know, but I think they have the ability to write really cool songs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel the same way. I'm not really a super fan myself, but man, like I'll turn on like the Sweater Song or Say It Ain't So any day and just rock the shit out of that. I mean, those are some of my favorite pop punk songs in history.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of the times I've heard them be covered by other bands live, and when they do that, it's always great.
Right.
The Say It Ain't So, and yeah, it's great.
I agree.
So we have actually covered our favorite song off of the Blue album. So if you guys want to go to YouTube and check out Volt, and the song that we did was My Name is Jonas. And so you can see Corey and I in action with our band performing that song as a cover and as a tribute to Weezer. If you want to look that up, that'd be great. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you check it out and you do like it. We're going to be trying to do that with each of the albums that we review. I think it's going to be a thing where we choose one song off of the album that's our kind of our favorite, and we're going to be covering it.
Right, which is why we're only listening to bands with really easy guitar parts.
Next up, Green Day.
yeah, right. Every song is 3 power chords. That's it.
Yeah, 3 chords and really easy singing for me.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
It's perfect. Although we already did cover a Green Day song, so maybe we have to do something different now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Although I've been listening to a lot of Green Day lately, and I'm really, really re-stoked. I mean, they're one of my favorite bands of all time. I am a super fan of that band. But, man, I've been listening to really old Green Day, like before Dookie, the first 2 albums that they released, and there's some super good songs in there.
Oh, you're one of those weird people that listens to the albums before the bigger albums. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
that's like when I talk to people about how I was such a big Blink-182 fan when I was a kid. And I'm like, oh, you never heard Fly Swatter before? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like
huh?
Enema of the State, and that's it. Yeah. Enema of the State and Beyond.
Yeah, and with Green Day, it's weird because they're like multi-generational. There's a bunch of fans like me who found them when they released Dookie in like 94, I think. And then there's a bunch of fans that found them when they released American Idiot in 2000 and something. Yeah. So they have these people that have never even knew Dookie existed, and it's really it's fascinating to see how they kind of re-rose and got even bigger than they were before. So,
yeah, I mean,
we'll have to check out one of their albums sometime.
I'm down. What are we doing next week?
I don't know. What do you want to do next week?
I don't know. I feel like we should do Green Day now.
Yeah, I'm down. It was recently the 25th anniversary of what's the fuck's their album name? Insomniac. It was recently the 25th anniversary of Insomniac, so it might be a good time to go and give that a listen again.
Let's do it.
You down?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Everybody tune in next week. We're going to be reviewing and listening to Insomniac by Green Day. And if you would like to listen along and, excuse me, give your ideas and listen to Corey and I's ideas, please do so. Listen to Insomniac for the next week or so. And we'll be back to review that album.
Yeah, and this was fun. I enjoyed the Pinkerton versus Blue.
Yeah,
and
hats off to Weezer.
Yeah, man, great band, great stuff, and continue to
except for
tune
Tired
in.
of Having Sex.
Yeah, you really don't like that song.
That one sucks bad.
I'm trying to think if there's a song that just absolutely sucks for me. I mean, I don't think that there's a song on Pinkerton that I just can't stand. What was it? Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I misplaced my notes from last week. I feel like an idiot. But I think it was Why Bother Why bother? Why bother with that song? Like the mastering felt lower, the mixing was worse, and it just kind of felt like this dull, like, I don't know.
Overall, it was just like, yeah, why bother, guys?
Yeah. You know what's going to be even better is if we finish this episode and then I go back and find my notes and then I said last week that Why Bother was my favorite song.
It was your favorite tune?
I want to be surprised.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Anyways, I think, is that all? Is that all we got today?
that's it for today. Yeah, tune in next week, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share and hit the notification bell and all that good stuff, and spread the word. Voltcast with Carter and
Voltecast.
Corey.
Tell your friends, and be sure to, just keep tuning in. Let us know what you think. Check out our content, like Carter just said, and we're looking forward to continuing the process here.
Good to see you, brother.
Likewise.
All right, guys, tune in next week.